We got wedding planning, marriages falling apart, and bad bitches doing it on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood for AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey! I don't even want to start the show because the show ain't got nothing on this song.
This song smells like Hennessy without me even. I can smell the Hennessy.
Woo! The Hennessy is strong, smelling memories. What's up, all of y'all out there? AfterBuzz TV, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. We gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and we finally got our former co-host back in the studio, guys.
Seriously,
we don't even know what to do. Like, it's been so long.
It's been like 3 months.
And he like ran away from home, and we didn't know where he went, and then he came back.
And people think that I ran him off.
You ran him off.
People think that Stephaune does not like me, and I don't like Stephaune.
Oh, but they love each other, y'all. They're like brother and sister.
Yes.
So you know, Shar's in the building, Stephaune's in the building.
Yes.
What up?
Obviously, I am not DJ Jesse J. It's me, Courtney, here on the microphone. Jesse got stuck in Baltimore, y'all, so he ain't here today. And we don't want to hear your comments about why Jesse ain't hosting, where he at. We don't want to hear that.
Like we literally.
He'll be back next week, y'all. I promise.
We gonna hold it down.
And I'll be gone.
Oh, Shar be out. And it's not because Stephaune scared Shar away. It is just because she got work to do.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Somebody out there is delighting in the fact I won't be here next
real.
week. And that's fine to each his own.
They do.
know.
But I think, Steven's jamming in the booth to the song because he's still popping on it right now.
I love it.
I'm not mad at you, brother.
While you jamming in the booth, make sure you pull up that chat because we need to
Up
see
the
it.
chat. We got to see what y'all was talking about and what you thought about this episode because it was a whole lot of junk going on in this episode. I got 3 pages of notes for this.
Good Lord.
I don't know. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. We had Ray J and Princess. Ray J finally decided I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to not keep worrying about my damn scooty bike when my future wife is trying to plan our wedding and I'm trying to show her that I care. So he makes a 5-page list of all the people he wants to invite to the wedding.
I feel like he just got everybody that's in the phone.
Yeah,
Maybe.
And just printed it out.
He just had somebody print
My
that
thing
out,
is
yeah.
when I don't know about you all, but as soon as he mentioned that, that we saw that he had 5 pages worth of names, all I thought was, damn, that's a lot of mouths to feed. Because, typically, you
cut, you be like, oop, no, we don't need that one. We don't need that one.
He's
we don't need
inviting
that
people
one.
from websites, probably people from the Moesha set.
You know what I'm saying?
Old
he
PAs
said crew and production and like when the last time you was really doing a production, brother? Like
Old
20 years ago.
PAs.
What's terrible about it, I forgot what he had on there, but it was like only a first name and then it said like Barber or something like that. You know how you do, how you put somebody in your phone, you're like, oh, this is so-and-so from Whole Foods.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
This was my Uber driver that I really liked. So you can come to the wedding.
How you gonna go?
Let me tell you all something. If you want to continue walking a righteous path, never take an Uber driver's number down.
Oh, because Shar's been there.
There's a story
behind that.
It's not me. It's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Well, I ain't never had no Uber driver phone number that I won't. But that's okay because Princess was real upset because apparently her list only had 2 people on it and she wasn't sure either one of them was going to come. So she was feeling real emotional and sad and I kind of felt bad for her. Y'all feel bad?
Yeah, it was, I wrote down poor little orphan girl. They were trying to, they had the violins out. They were really playing our heartstrings.
They played it up.
Princess is so sad. Nobody loves her.
Shar's face is flat as.
I empathize with her. My only thing is that what I found interesting is that typically, and I know that this happens with the bride's family, but typically it's the groom's family that cuts up like that. Like the bride's family is all in it to win it, and the groom's family is like the one that's a little bit more resistant.
That is the
truth. I found that quite interesting because, I don't really watch the show like that except for when I'm doing, this season. And from my understanding, her only issue was with her father. I didn't know she had issues with her mom too.
Yeah. So, well, she was on the pole for a while, so that was probably a strained relationship for a variety of reasons. And she can't be that old, but she was saying she ain't talked to her dad for like 10 years. So, like, girl, when you was like, what, 14, you stopped talking? That's insane. But so we'll just finish up dealing with the rest of the episode.
She always seems so melancholy though, right? Like her either her mouth doesn't doesn't
maybe she's just not
open
that
wide enough to
expressive.
express. I don't
She
know.
talks like real soft and like she don't really open to talk.
But she
about
don't move
stuff.
a lot
She
of
don't
stuff
move
on her
That
face.
could be Botox. Maybe she's older than we think she is, and so she wants to keep looking youthful for the show. I'm just saying.
So
I mean, it's Hollywood.
Princess is really 45.
It
She could be.
Death Becomes Her, starring
thank you,
Goldie
Angelica.
Hawn and Meryl Streep. One of my favorite
I love
movies
that
with the
movie.
serum.
And then when they shoot her at the end,
Oh
and
my
she walking around with the
yes.
hole, that was crazy. I
No,
love
and
that
the
movie.
funeral at the end when they fall down the steps.
Yes, and they all
Have you ever
broken
seen
apart.
that movie? I'm
That
sure
movie's
you haven't.
hilarious.
No.
You
It's
need
so
to look
funny.
up Death Becomes Her. It's an old movie and it
Goldie Hawn.
stars John Travolta, Goldie Hawn, and
I love
Meryl
Goldie Hawn.
Streep.
It was
Okay,
from like the late
anything else?
90s. It was like
Death
late
Becomes
90s.
Her?
It was funny. It's funny.
Okay.
It's
All right.
good.
All right.
Have you ever seen it? Yeah, it's
We
good.
know about it. We know about
Love it.
Okay, so we're going to finish up with the wedding situation. So she also got to go try on her dress this week, or some dresses.
Which is cute. Well,
was
no, before you
cute.
get to the wedding dresses, because I wrote down, I'm like, Ray J started finding out about Princess's dad, like, they're about to be married. I'm like, what?
You ain't know she
When
had
you're-
daddy issues?
They've been dating for how long? A couple years, right?
She need to be getting a tambourine out, honey, and singing
Okay.
hard, okay?
No. Y'all stupid.
Because
Beyonce.
she's obviously been struggling. But I guess he didn't know to the extent of it. I mean, he knew
Or
it was
he
estranged,
didn't
but...
care to
Right.
know.
Well, how have you
Because-
gotten this far and you haven't asked those questions about her father?
I mean, maybe he has, and he just, you know...
I
didn't
feel
think
like
it was
those
that
are
big of a
common
deal.
questions when you're in relationships with people. You're going to ask about their family, brothers,
Absolutely.
sisters, mom, dad.
First couple months, you talking about mom
Really?
and dad.
Yeah.
I ain't saying, like all the family, but mom and pops.
Right,
You
we
ask
don't
about,
need to know about your great aunt Myrtle, but mom and dad,
unless you were molested somehow by somebody way down deep. We do need to know that because
Well, sometimes that doesn't come
difficult
up, which is
situation.
really interesting. People don't
Sometimes it
actually
takes
bring that
time
up.
to unpack things like that.
Unpack them all. That's true though.
It
Lots of
does.
people end up in therapy after they were married and they never expressed that they were molested before
In
they got
particular,
married.
I would be so
men.
pissed.
Yeah, I mean, it's very upsetting, obviously, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. People,
I'd be like, why you ain't tell me this?
rough.
You didn't say this whole time?
We not saying that that's what happened to you, princess. We just, obviously.
I was about to say, I'm going to clean it. You see, I'm over here radio
We
silent.
were just talking about other stuff. But, okay, radio silent was that dress. Okay, she had a dress on. He walked in like it wasn't nothing. And she's like, you see me
I
like
panicked with that, too,
I did.
because
I was
it's
like, why are you
like-
coming? Why would you ever come to the bridal salon at all?
And it
there
wasn't
was
like
no
an
reason.
ease your way down the road. He
No.
like busted through like, woo, woo, like
No.
I'm here.
I'm so out of. I guess I'm so male that I didn't really understand when
It's
he walked
bad
in.
luck.
I thought it was super cute. And then y'all start saying, "Oh wait, he's not supposed to be there."
No.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can't see the dress."
That is hallowed ground.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You don't step
You
foot in
don't
no
step
bridal
foot
shop.
in the bridal shop.
I thought he was
Or
doing the
go
right
to
thing.
the fitting rooms,
No.
none of that. And as you saw when she was sitting there, she was talking about, I brought my best friends because I don't have anybody here and I don't have any family.
And I would
members."
call Sonia and Brandy, but
But they don't like me either.
right, basically.
So Ray J came in, brought her grandma, who's
Yes.
sickly and doesn't fly.
That was
Yeah.
now that was
That was
sweet.
So that was the
precious.
reason why she hadn't seen her grandma for a while.
Yeah,
'Cause
she
don't-
says she's sick often and like she doesn't fly alone.
Yeah.
And she was
It
panicking
was a
because no
whole
one was
thing.
going to be able to come to the wedding, but now Grammy's in town.
Grammy's in town, and
town.
apparently Grammy is Daddy's mom, and apparently Daddy has communicated that he will definitely be at the wedding. Why you haven't communicated that with your daughter? I don't
Yeah,
really know.
yeah.
See, I was
but-
on the
Third
fence
party?
about this because my
Why?
thing is, I don't even know if this is room for me to speak because my dad is in my life. But there's something about, if I were to imagine that I have not spoken to my father in a decade, I certainly don't want you walking me down the
That's,
aisle.
I thought the same thing when she
That's
was
just
so
my
emotional
thing.
about it. I
Yeah.
was
Like,
like,
you
he's
don't-
not in your life. Like,
he doesn't
why
know
do
you.
We can
Yeah.
have Willie Ray Norwood Sr.
Thank you.
walk me down the aisle because I'm sure she has a better relationship with Ray J's
She
dad
probably
than
has
her
a
own.
male friend that's a better friend to her
What?
than her dad. Like,
The full name though.
Willie Ray Norwood
that's his
Sr.
name. Hey, that's
And
why
Ray
he's
J's the
Ray
junior.
I love it. I love
Exactly.
it. Oh my god.
I just don't see. I didn't get that part, but like I said, I don't know if that's my space to
It
speak
could be
because that's not my truth.
Because I mean, it could still be a fantasy. Like if you don't have your dad in your life and you still fantasize.
Like some of
that
Yanla
he-
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She still like wants him to show up one more
Yes.
time. Like just show up this time because you've never showed up before. So.
You missed the part. Are you going to talk about Future? I mean, not Future, but
Fizz
and Willie in the studio.
Yeah,
Nigga,
girl,
we
we
ain't got
just
there. We
staying
still on
with
Ray
the
J, girl.
subject.
Oh, my
I
tweets.
wasn't going in complete
Okay,
order. I was just sticking with the subject.
Okay.
Because I
I'm like,
wanted
my
to
tweets
get
are in a certain order.
Taylor, I'm gonna let you
We're
finish.
getting the
I'm gonna
wedding
let you
out
finish.
of the way.
I'm gonna let my good sis finish.
I mean, we can be done with the wedding because I don't really care in the end.
We cannot move on from the wedding.
I'm bored.
First off, Ray J is my favorite character. Y'all already know that. Y'all know that out there too. And I can't move forward without acknowledging how much effort and work and love and support Ray J put in
this episode.
In this episode. Please give him his props.
I will not give him his props because that is like the most basic thing you could do. Your woman has no family, no mom, no dad. You know she loves her grandma. Congratulations, you thought. Like, it wasn't brilliant that you figured out that you should maybe bring her grandma.
He's covering her with his huge family. He has a big family. They're very tight knit.
Yeah, but
they're going to be bringing her into it.
They don't like her.
They don't like her.
They don't like her.
Well, they will love her.
Because if they did, they would have been in that bridal suite.
At least he said, well,
at
you're
least
going to get plenty of love from us.
Maybe they were and didn't show up.
He hugged and loved her in a time of need, and y'all don't need to overlook that.
And that's his
You're about to
responsibility.
marry her.
I
so
think
of
Ray J went
course.
over and above. Shout out to Ray J.
Over and above?
Yes.
Over
Going to
and
get
above
Grammy.
what?
Going to get Grammy to fly her in for the dress shopping.
Okay, first off, you
That
don't
was
know.
awesome.
You do not know that he went to get Grammy.
He had to sing
might
for her somehow.
He sent for grandma, which is still great. But you acting like this is some miraculous movement of the Lord that made him step up. That's about to be your wife. She falling apart. You're damn straight you better step up and do something so the girl ain't falling out in the floor dead.
But when a man does step up, y'all need to acknowledge that he has stepped up.
I'm tired of that.
Stefan.
We're done.
Yes.
We're done.
Stefan.
Acknowledge my friend.
That's why I tried to end the wedding episode
So many
like 2
men
minutes
have
ago.
mommy issues while we're talking about her and her daddy issues.
And at the end of that, Princess said, that's why he's the one.
Girl, bye. All of y'all. Bye.
It's so sweet.
Bye. Girl, he gonna last. You know I'm not gonna wish
Another,
that on
yeah.
Y'all married now and it's beautiful. Congratulations.
I was
moving
married
on.
now. I said I was married now. Remember the color pearl?
She was like, Daddy.
Yeah. Daddy, I was married now. I said I was married now.
Okay, we're gonna move
All
on.
right.
So we're gonna go back in the studio with little Fizzard.
And hopefully we don't stay
Fizzard.
there long. Sipping on some Fizzard.
AKA Nadavius.
So Fizz was in there auto-tuning it
rapping,
up.
y'all. He was rapping.
Oh,
He was
Lord.
sing
He said
rapping.
he was doing some lines.
Shrapping.
Talking
What is
about
that?
he
Is-
needed a Mona Lisa and all kind of other stuff. And Willie was in there looking stressed out like he'd been looking for the last like 4 episodes.
Willie was supposed to be in. Now watch, he's gonna come in while I'm gone.
Oh,
and
yes, Willie's supposed to be in studio at some point.
I had some things to tell him.
We all got some things to tell him because I didn't feel bad for him at
Maybe
all.
I'll Skype in.
When you get there, I got a lot to say on Willie.
All right, so he's in the studio, and the most disgusting thing that came out of that particular scene, at least in my opinion, was how Fizz stood in his little like confessional and was like, I mean, all these horrible things are happening, and you know, Willie's a really good dude. No, he's not a good dude. He's been boning some chick for the last 10 years and lying to his wife about it.
And then
F
on
you,
top
he's
of
not
that,
a good dude.
I don't condone Willie's
Oh, here we
actions,
go.
but
blood
he can
pressure.
still be a good dude. He just made some poor decisions.
Bye, you are not
You
a
know,
good
the problem
dude.
with so many men is they expect a women, in particular good women, to stick by their side
Through
as
their
they
nonsense
mature.
and their bullshit.
Exactly, like they expect to be given extra room to mature, and it's
Yeah.
just like, don't even, like Phaedra told Apollo, go away from me with this. Don't even
Don't bring
to,
that
right.
here, okay? Don't bring it here because we ain't got time
you
for
want
that.
extra time. Some guy tweeted the other day, and I was like pissy weak because he was like, "Yeah, I may be a cheater, but I'm your cheater," like something like that. Like I'm
You are
still yours.
dirty
I was
dog
pissy
having-
weak at that because this is how a lot of these
They
men
do
really
and
think.
And in his defense, Shonda was very clear, even when she came in here in studio, and she talked about how they got together really young. So she definitely gave
True.
him
Yes.
passes a while, but she was like, "Now we are grown for real. Like this shit is old. Stop. Like why are you still doing the
I
same
know people
stuff?"
like that, and even at 19, when I had peers getting married, I was just sitting back,
Oh, that's
not hating, but
funny.
it's
That
telltale.
doesn't sound like a
Telltale.
good
You're
plan.
19 and by the age of 22 you have 4 kids with your husband and you all are on that
4.
military base and stuff.
God, it's like 19.
We've all
25.
seen
You going
it happen.
specific though? You going
Okay.
specific?
We've all no because I
on the
know
military base.
No because I know more than enough people and then
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
the receipts start
It
coming in
keeps
on
going.
the Facebook and but what I thought was strange is and I initially tweeted, why is Willie taking relationship advice from
Yes.
Fizz? But more specifically, marriage
Oh yes.
advice
And
from
I'm glad you
Fizz.
brought that up. Let's talk about the advice that he gave him. You need to take her to dinner, man, and like light some candles and have some.
You would think we were
petals and
sophomores
shit.
in high
Like,
school.
Yo, he
Take
definitely
her
gave
to
her
dinner. You have been effing another woman in another city for 10 years.
And another
you think
woman
you
that's
gonna fix
trolling
it?
your wife.
That's trolling me and trying to fight me.
Yeah, right.
And that's trying to fight
She
me.
yanked my unit
She
off.
pulled my wig off on national television. And
Yo.
you think that buying me dinner and lighting
No,
some candles
a backyard picnic.
I didn't see no
A
food. Did
backyard-
y'all see some food?
Nope, I saw
didn't
rose
see no
petals
food.
and conversation.
Did you cook it? Because I didn't see anything. It was a mess. I am so sad that you really took that advice and really tried to do that. But
Like, what are we, 10th grade?
I don't know why we give
I'm gonna X them out right
middle
now.
school
We're
Fizz
done.
any storylines still. Because he
still
really,
there.
if you think about it, he doesn't really have one. He's
No.
not really connected to anybody.
We're not talking about the kid
We don't bring the
anymore,
kid
the
up.
pretty model from last season.
Moniece has moved on
Yeah,
into her
I
whole
forgot
own
about her.
storyline.
Remember she got into it with
yeah,
Nikki?
Yeah, forgot
And
about
she
That
her.
girl
gone.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't need a storyline. I don't know.
He's
Anyway,
like with the Housewives. Fizz is like a friend of the Love and Hip Hop random.
Yeah.
An
Even though
affiliate.
he's
He's
still
an
in the
affiliate.
opening credits.
Yeah, he's
The Housewives,
Oh, that's true. He's
they
still
don't
in the opening
hold
credits.
peaches. For Marlo never held a
That's
peach.
true. That is
he
true.
gave the most immature get out of the doghouse plan
Yeah.
Literally.
I've ever heard.
So just because we're in it, you know,
Literally.
Stephaune, why don't you share what would be the better get out of the doghouse plan?
Give us some
I would imagine
alternatives.
perhaps you've been in the doghouse once or twice in life. So like, what would have been a good plan for, you know, Willie to undertake?
You know, to be honest, I don't know that there can ever be a plan. That's the first thing. You shouldn't have anything planned, because you got to come from the heart. It's really got to be something sincere, and you must know your woman. So every woman's gonna be different. But I would just say, I don't know. Because Willie's married and I've not yet been married.
Well, thank you, Dr.
That was
Stephaune,
solid
for
advice,
that solid
though.
advice.
Thank you.
That was
Appreciate
pretty
that.
sound
Pretty
because you
sound
do have to
advice.
know your woman.
That is the truth.
Just like ladies, you got to know your man.
That's
Yeah.
the truth. And apparently Willie do not know his woman because she walked into the house and
Uh-oh.
closed the door behind her and said, "Sorry, boo, I've given you too many times. This marriage can't be fixed with us together." Which is, I actually think, a really interesting statement.
What I loved in particular about this scene is that she did not cave. I was like, oh, thank God,
Yes.
Shonda is not that
Yes,
basic.
Shonda.
Because for
Fist
her,
bump.
like a lot of the things she was saying, like, why do we have to wait until discourse for me to be treated like this?
Yeah.
And then on top
Yeah.
of that, you are a fool to
Yes.
think that you could cheat on me for years and years
For
and years.
years.
And then you
Years.
invite me to some makeshift backyard picnic and
Where
I
I didn't even see no food.
jump back into your arms. What is this? 10th
Bye.
grade?
And you obviously didn't prepare me because she had on heels and everything. Like she thought she was going
Going
somewhere for
do
real.
something
She didn't
extra
know she was
nice.
going to be in the backyard.
Yo, you can't do the same old crap that you were doing
You
10,
can't.
15 years
Right,
ago.
that might have worked with her 10 years
Yeah.
ago,
You
but
can't
now
win,
it's
child.
like she's
Like-
like, and what killed me about Willie, and this happens, this is across the board. A
Yes.
lot of these guys commit these
Atrocities.
Heinous
atrocities to the relationship and then expect you to hit reset.
Like you just gonna forget.
Me take you to this makeshift backyard picnic
She
with
ain't-
no food and just rose petals and candles,
Rose petals and candles,
champagne.
and they was probably silk petals
And
too.
you
didn't even buy
expected
real roses. You
the
garbage.
reset button and everything to just go back to what it was because you're just all of a sudden now so apologetic.
And
Yeah.
you know that woman pulled my wig off in front of everybody on national TV.
Oh,
Snatched
Of
my
course, I
wig
always want to
off.
stand up for the guy. It's very difficult for Willie because when she says stuff like "I've forgiven you too many times," you know, they've put in a lot of years
They
of
have.
over and over and over again forgiveness. So this woman coming out of the woodwork is nothing new. Next thing is, I love Shonda. Shout out to Shonda, who is a friend of the family here.
Yeah, she came through.
For just standing your ground. I mean, it was a decent attempt by Willie, but she didn't cave, like you said.
Decent.
And she brought up something that I thought was exactly the point that Willie should know. She said, "For you, family wasn't a priority."
Yup.
And
it
if-
wasn't because
It
he's
wasn't. Your
been
dick
on.
was your
He's been
priority.
with this girl. I could see if it were one error, but it's something that stings a little bit. I don't know if you can speak to this, Courtney, but it's something that stings a little bit if it's like a Tiger Woods, Elin Woods type thing where it's the roster of women. But when you have slept with the same woman over a span of time,
relationship
with somebody else. You weren't just having, you had a relationship. And this woman called you when we done moved across the damn country and you got on a plane and went back and F that bitch in Chicago and talking about, I fell for the bait and I just went.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They didn't have no money last episode.
And that's right.
Season.
They was broke last season.
And he was mad. She was trying to strip.
And you spending our good school
supply
money?
Good money.
Are you
use good money to go buy a plane
You spending those day 26 residual checks?
I'm done.
To fly your black ass to Chicago to cheat on me?
To have sex with this woman.
But you can't spend those day 26 residual checks to apologize.
A mess. You ain't even buy me no food, and you talking about you gonna come back to me?
If you flew across the nation to go get that booty,
that's a good $350 ticket.
You need to fly. There should be a babysitter for the kids for like 5 days.
That is a mess.
You should be flying Shonda. Y'all should be
Fiji,
somewhere.
to Tahiti, to somewhere.
Something she'll never forget. Someplace that'll blow her mind. He just ain't doing right, Willie.
That has to be some good snatch for you to fly across. Because there's plenty of girls running around here in Hollywood.
Around LA. And you flew all the way back to Chicago. But that speaks to the fact that it was a relationship.
Oh, well, because it was something familiar.
Something familiar you needed to go back to. Well, while you were all busy with that familiarity, you got kicked out of your house, Willie, and the end of the episode had you with your backpack getting in your friend's car. You ain't got no car, brother? Like, you don't have a car? Your friend had to pick you up from the house to take you somewhere?
I loved this entire scene because the slow-mo shots gave me day 26, like, nostalgia. Since you've been gone, it gave me, like, I was waiting for Big Mike and Rob and the rest of the guys to come out. Because it was, the slow-mo, and he was really crying.
Yeah. You know what I hate, though? So he's moving out, and we don't get to see it, but here are two kids. They have two kids, right?
Yes, they have two.
Two gorgeous kids, by the way. I saw them
a boy and a girl,
on Instagram.
Two kids that have to watch their father pack up and leave the house. And that's scarring for kids. That brands their brains, you know what I'm saying? As far as
that's why Shonda said
future.
You should be setting example on how women should be treated and what else? What's the other side of the coin?
How a man should be and how the woman should be expecting to be treated. Because he has a son and daughter. So he's losing on both accounts.
And Willie, please stop lying to yourself talking about, I've never been here before. He was saying that on the way out. You have been here at least 10 times.
I can't.
You know what I'm saying?
And at that point, honestly, if we're really, I get the business. I get the business aspect of it. But honestly, if we're going to keep going on this merry-go-round, this hamster wheel of bullshit, why are we even still married?
Right.
And I get the business side of things. I really do.
Yeah.
Because who just died and they don't get anything? I was just reading an article.
And they don't get anything.
Somebody had a longtime girlfriend. And it might be Terrence Critcher from the Tulsa murders. You know how
she was with him for a long time.
Kind of like Eric Garner and that whole situation. So I get the marriage aspect of things, or at least the living will.
Yeah.
Not to get all morbid, but I'm just saying, if we're going to be on a hamster wheel of bullshit, what is the point of us even? Why are you tormenting me?
Why? Well, that's why she stayed gone. And he had to go too.
You're clearly incapable of making sound decisions.
Yeah, apparently not. Well, sound decisions. Let's talk about the comedy of the episode. We had Miss Moniece show back up, and we ain't seen Moniece in a minute.
Woo!
You good over here?
Yes. This is my favorite scene of the night.
So bad bitches do a lot of things,
sociopath.
apparently. So like the episode opened up, she had a little meetup with Masika. She was rehearsing her new song, Bad Bitches Do, and basically they decided they plotting together to bring down Brandy, aka the Chihuahua.
Yeah, I want to say real quick, I like that they figured out a way to string Masika back into all the storylines.
Through it.
She's got a little. She's connected to like 2 or 3 different people now.
She's got a little something going on right
More
now.
than Fizz. Cut Fizz.
Oh, we can't cut Fizz.
Yeah, we do. We need
because
to.
Fizz is like the running joke.
If Hazel E. And Omarion and April. And Milan and Miles can go. Certainly Fizz can as well.
Fizz, you gotta do something. You gotta step it up, brother. You're gonna lose your job. But Moniece stepped it up because she gonna keep her job, y'all. And she decided she was gonna have a listening party.
For some mess.
So that she could expose Brandy for not being a bad bitch. And when Masika asked her, why would you do that, girl? at your own
Why would you
event.
ruin
Like,
your
why
own
would you ruin
event?
your own
Right.
event? She was like, well, you know, shit, it's gonna be some other ones. I'm gonna have a few
She
more.
kept it real.
She was honest.
She said
She kept
sometimes
it
you
real.
gotta make sacrifices.
Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices.
I love
At
it.
the expense of other bitches and their pride, I guess.
Yes.
So,
Pretty much.
by all means.
So she sent them a little invitation through the DM. She invited Princess and she invited Brandy, and they were all shocked, like, ooh, what's gonna go on? And, they
And
gonna
not
show
replying, and one of them put LOL.
LOL and all that nonsense. But they put on their best outfits, y'all, and sunglasses, and rolled up in there like a gang of hoes. And
Yep.
they had, apparently, as Moniece said, she said there was a mutt, a trainer, and a handler. I don't
Wow.
really know who was who, but Princess and Brandy and some other chick that's Brandy's like best friend who's
modeling her clothes.
Modeling her clothes and apparently can sing, so she was trying to come from Moniece's singing
Like a
ability.
real voice.
Like
Oh,
a real
jeez.
voice. So they come to the party, they sit down, okay, and then so Moniece just jump up on stage like, hey y'all, I'm so glad Princess is here.
But she did it right away though.
Yeah,
She
she did.
did.
She
She
jumped
didn't
up.
hesitate.
She was like, I
she didn't
wanna
even give you a
welcome.
chance to get adjusted in
Right,
your
right.
seat.
No.
People were probably still at the bar.
They
like,
didn't
I'm
take
gonna
their
go grab
coats
us
off.
some.
They
Nope.
still had their purses sitting on the table. And she said, Princess and Brandy are here. And she was very excited about it. And basically, she said, Brandy, Becky found me.
Wow.
And she did not serve me no lemonade. She served me piping hot tea.
Tea, the
Hot
finest
tea.
Lipton.
The finest
The
Lipton.
finest pure leaf.
And apparently it's a police report that Brandy damn near killed somebody, basically. And
Which is,
Over
we know
Max.
is either the
It's
truth or
totally
not far
possible.
from the truth.
I called Brandy last week the second coming of Jackie Christie, because this is Jackie
is
Christie.
off the hook.
Jackie
Yeah.
Doug
So-
Christie behavior.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Doug is way better than Max.
Yeah.
I think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we saying, okay, with this newfound information, so Max actually cheated on Brandy? Is that what we
That's
are
what
to
the
That's
argument
what's
deduce?
being
is.
implied,
That
that
is what
he
it's
was
being-
with Becky.
Okay.
I'm going to say
And-
Rebecca.
Yes, he was with Rebecca.
And okay, so Becky, we're saying is a white girl.
No, we just saying she a Becky.
I noticed that in the subtitles, you know how we watch with subtitles and audio? Every time Becky's name was said, it was a lowercase b. So I don't know if that's like a...
Like a thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a Becky, not necessarily Becky.
Right.
So, I mean, what if?
So she probably was of the Caucasian persuasion.
She might have been, she might not have been. But in the end, she was a groupie.
Typically.
Okay.
And
All right.
so she caught them in the action.
Maybe it was January from the Basketball Wives.
Ooh.
I ain't even.
Well, apparently Brandy caught him in the act and went ape shit. And
She climbed in through a window apparently.
yes, and which doesn't seem far-fetched
is
at
not
all.
far
I mean,
from-
she climbs on cars,
Yes.
she breaks
Hides in
in
trunks,
and she's admitted
hides
that in the
under
past.
cars.
Yeah, and but it got violent because she said in her little confessional, like, how's she gonna bring that up? That was a very dangerous situation. Dangerous, honey, because you brought a knife. Like, what were you doing? We
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying.
She might have had a weapon on her. Who knows?
Or Becky might have got a weapon to defend her
Yeah.
her own life.
Exactly. So
Because now you're in my house, you're climbing. Because did she
Absolutely.
climb through the window in Becky's house, in
I mean,
Rebecca's
it
house?
was definitely somebody else's home. It
Right,
was not
right.
her
It was
home.
definitely her trespassing, either way you want to slice
She was
it.
trespassing.
And for Brandy to
Yes.
say it was a dangerous situation, but she went to jail. So who was the
Yeah.
dangerous person?
Brandy.
You're the dangerous one.
Because Moniece said, Becky slid me that nice police report, and it's
Yeah, she did.
actual and
Factual.
but still,
That's the truth.
I choose you.
So Brandy gets upset, but Brandy's calm, and somehow Princess thinks she's the one that needs to charge the stage. This is the second time, third time Princess done jumped up out her seat and ran after Moniece, and Moniece
Yeah.
just sat there like, but what are you doing?
This was my favorite scene because of that.
Yeah.
Moniece is a bona fide sociopath.
Shout out to you,
And
Moniece.
she stood there. It's literal chaos erupting amongst the
And
audience.
she is literally standing there
and
like,
she could give 2/4 of a fuck. Like she's just like,
Unfazed.
Literally.
unbothered. And
all.
she was the personification of unbothered. Matter of fact, I need that in a
yes.
GIF.
Yeah.
So when Twitter gets a little mess,
yeah.
that it'll be work as a metaphor.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of you all are doing whatever, and I'm Moniece in this situation.
Yeah, that entire building could have been on fire. She would have not
She
even.
wouldn't have moved. She would
Not
have been
even
there.
moved.
And,
I
And
love
that
it.
probably
basking
made them
in the
even more
glory.
pissed.
Yeah.
They were shook.
They were shook.
Yeah,
Princess
but
chasing
Princess
her.
is out of line. Listen, you're about to be somebody's wife.
Wife.
Oh, well, you're now a wife, but at that time, you're about to be somebody's wife.
But she has a violent past. Remember the whole Princess and Ray J in New Orleans.
Well,
but you about to be a wife. Sit your ass down somewhere.
But think about it. She ain't really got no friends. And like that's her friend.
No guidance, no family.
So she really trying, like she feel like she got to protect the little bit she got. So she was real upset.
Well, now,
you know?
if Brandy went charging and then you go charging too, that's trying to be homies. That's friends.
Well,
you charging, she still sitting down?
Well,
you look crazy.
Well, she just was trying to help her friend.
Oh, Lord.
She don't know
if I'm Ray J, I'm like, girl, get your ass in the car and let's go home.
That's why Sonya and Brandy and them don't like
her. Because they know she's a ticking time bomb and apparently is had to be held down by all the security.
Home training.
But they got it together and they left without any serious altercation.
Right.
Everybody moved on and Moniece is still fine with how it
Don't y'all feel stupid going to somebody's listening party that you know you don't like?
You knew it was going to be mess and
you know
still went. And the kicker is you let it rattle you.
Yeah.
If they would have sat there, Moniece would have been pissed and pressed. If they just would have been like, or if they would have bursted out in laughter. You cannot let people shake your foundation.
No. Well, they got real shook.
And Moniece got what she wanted.
She got exactly what she wanted. And they left. So, speaking of weak, we got one more little storyline to talk about this week, y'all.
Oh, Lord.
I really don't even want to talk about it because it's really this upsetting. But okay,
Big
so we're gonna talk about the
Batman Safaree.
Stop! Don't do that. Do not do that. Go sit over there if you're gonna do that. Oh my God! I cannot stand. Whew. Okay.
I literally wrote down "I hate you" when Safaree came up on the screen.
Listen.
Like I can't.
It's just the baby oil, the fur coat, and the accent.
I don't.
You can't be mad at the accent.
Well, yes, I can because it's forced patois. He don't talk like that.
No, he don't. Not regular.
If it were Rihanna, then I can't be mad at the accent because that is Rihanna's dialect. Safaree goes from one extreme to the next.
And he does it when he think he's trying to be like sexy and show like, oh, I gotta do that. Like, no, boo, no, you can't.
It's so contrived and unnecessary.
But he is Jamaican. He is Jamaican.
But they don't want to claim him. Did you see the comments?
Can't stand him either. They're like, I'm Jamaican and I won't claim it.
African Americans can have that Negro.
I can't with Safaree. He's so thirsty.
He is so
Us over here in Jamaica
Oh,
want no parts of it.
He lost a lot of points with me, though. I love Ray J. I tried to bring Safaree into that sort of love, but his reaction to Rosa and Nikki.
I want it all.
You lost a lot of G points, man. You're a lowercase G now, boss.
Oh, that's so sad.
Sorry.
It's so sad.
By the way, Soulja Boy was so high. You guys need to go back and rewatch the
drink tasting scene.
The drink tasting scene. Oh my! Soulja Boy was in space. He was so unbelievably high in that scene.
He didn't even make a comment the entire time.
No,
he was just like, "What are we doing? We drinking this?"
Okay. I mean, the only intelligent comment out of that whole session was A1 being like, dog, I have no idea why you would ever take advice from Ray J.
Because A1 is trying to stay married. He ain't trying to stay
By
like,
the
I ain't gonna blow it.
Speaking of A1, Lyrica really... I like her, but she has no business on this messy ass show. That one little scene that they did with Nikki's hairstylist and Lyrica, she just doesn't fit in the mess of the show.
She's just trying to sell some records. That's all.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get
She
some
won't
exposure.
be back next season.
Yeah,
Maybe
I wrote
not.
down when Lyrica came in to talk to Nikki, random friends, and they always do that with Nikki.
Yeah.
But Nikki doesn't really have any friends.
No.
She's not,
mentioned that when she was here. She don't really
roll with none of them.
Yeah.
So they just made it work. But so Nikki sat down with her hairstylist Phil and Lyrica talking about her triangle and how upset she was. And then the boys all talking about, oh, Miss Nikki, baby, we gonna get her and we gonna figure it out. So then we get a lovely scene at the end of the episode where Safaree's dumbass thinks it's a cool thing to do to put a freaking microphone in his ear.
What is this, a Martin Lawrence movie?
I thought that was hilarious.
Big Mama's House, Bad
Ray J,
Boys, what is this?
Ray J, tip of the hat, because if somebody is that stupid,
why not take advantage?
Take advantage.
I see why Onika's not with you anymore.
Yeah.
Ray and Soulja Boy, they were enjoying this little. Because Safaree's acting like a little kid.
He is.
Who's being led around by his nose.
I would have been right in that back seat with them,
laughing
key
my
cackling.
ass off.
Yo, they were clowning.
feeling.
I love the walkie-talkies. Shout out to that whole scene. Thank you for doing it for me.
Nikki was like, "Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking?" She was like, "Oh no, you can't talk to me like that."
That's not how you
Because he don't even
me.
sound like himself.
No, because he sounds ridiculous all the time.
That's not how you and Nikki even said when she was in the studio, Safaree's not that dude. When
He's not
with the I want it all
yeah.
comment.
Yeah, she was like, he's a nice, sweet guy. He's not that guy.
I want it all. He didn't even say it right. First up, you can't take advice from Ray J, not because all of Ray J's advice is bad. Ray J has a certain swag that Safaree just can't pull off. And that's what it is. So Ray J's telling him, this is what I would say if I were in the situation. You know, but you put Safaree in that same
Just
situation.
like what you said earlier, you have to, fellas, you have to know your lady.
Yep.
And ladies, you gotta know your fella.
And fellas, you need to know yourself.
Come
know
on.
if you can't say that.
Come
you
on.
can't
Know
pull that off.
thyself.
Deliver
Okay?
this word.
Know thyself.
Know
You
yourself.
can't pull that off.
All right, so
Jeez.
Nikki brought in some random chick whose face we can't see because they blurred it out and they didn't show her name and we don't know who she is.
And her voice
but
was,
her voice
I'm
was
gonna say, altered.
sideways. Yeah, so we don't know what's going on.
I'm going to say, because in my heart of hearts, I'm like, is this possibly a trans woman?
That they try to put on?
That they try to put on. But, I mean, she don't obviously want to really be put on because they blurred her out and all of that.
And that can happen a lot of the times in reality TV where people will be like, okay, that's what makes me think that the mystery woman in the Safaree thing is potentially real
because
she did not sign a release form.
Yeah. So she showed up to the dinner like, hey, you know me,
And he tried to
Papi.
pull that move. Oh, I hate
He likes booty and titties. And
right,
she
like,
ain't it.
this is my typical girl. Y'all know I wouldn't go for it. But that's how
it works. I mean, it's like men be with beautiful women and suddenly it's this big, ugly, fat chick that they done bought. And you like, what?
Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, who stepped out on Maria Shriver for Mildred the Maid. Because
and
he
made
knew,
a baby.
Right, he
and
knew that no one was going to believe
that he would mess with that until they saw that baby.
That's the way of that's just the way that this works. So he wanted to perpetuate this idea that, I don't know that. The funniest part of that was the a fan. This is a fan. She was like, a fan of what, bitch? Are you serious?
He's like, I'm famous. I take pictures with everybody. Bitch, who? I wouldn't recognize you on the side of the street.
When she said, a fan of what?
Because you're nothing.
I lost it, y'all. Like, I lost it. A fan of what?
Of his fur coat, because he was probably wearing his fur coat in Miami.
This upset
Talk
me,
about
though.
an ego bruiser.
I was definitely upset by Nikki for pulling this stunt.
Why?
I loved it, because he thought Rosa was going to hit that corner.
She
was like,
he was waiting. He was like, oh, she done worked it out. I'm going to get both.
And when Rachel was like, abort.
I love the abort. I love the abort. I just want to
Golden.
always say abort in situations. It's great. No, but Nikki, I mean, for me, Nikki stooped down some levels, bringing this girl who I feel like is a fan, or
so you don't
some
believe
random. No.
that Miami hookup happened.
I'm sure he hooked up with girls in Miami. It's Miami, but I don't think that he hooked up in particular with this fanatic. They did take a picture.
Well, the only reason this is a little sketch is because in the end, does it really matter, Nikki? Because the whole point of everything was that y'all weren't in a relationship, so you get to sleep
Which
with
makes
and do
me
whatever
feel-
you
You
want.
said that.
Which I
So why
can't
you mad?
understand. Nikki.
And that's from the past.
Yes.
The Miami incident is before
So
you.
Way before you.
For that reason, I don't understand why it was relevant that she did
Right.
it. But I was still entertained because he did think it was
Thoroughly
about to be Rosa.
entertained.
He thought it was going to be Rosa.
Yeah, Nikki got to get it together. That's weak. That's weak for you bringing this girl in.
Well, it was
And she-
weak for him to have the fucking earpiece.
It was weaker.
Look, you got-
That was funny.
It
though.
was
That-
weaker.
She don't know about that though.
I told
In the
myself I
battle
was
of
going to
the
stop
weakness.
using profanity, and
She
you
don't-
got me breaking my own code on the
See,
after
you done
show.
made
Listen.
Shar cuss.
It was weak on Nikki's behalf. She doesn't know about the earpiece, so I can't include the earpiece. But Nikki came there because she was saying, "I'm missing Safaree." You know, she was
No,
trying
that's
to
not
get
why
back
she
with
came
him.
there. That's not initially.
She was trying to
until her
get it back.
hairdresser dropped
That
that
bomb.
bomb.
She was saying I missed him, but then when he said, "Oh, by the way, she been hooked," that whole thing.
My
changed.
homegirl. So now the meeting between Nikki and Safaree became a set up, not an I miss you.
Yeah, man, Beanie Man, Lady
Please
Saw.
stop. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Big
I
up.
can't. Oh, okay.
Lady Saw and Beanie Man, best concert ever.
Wednesday night.
Summer
Now y'all
Slam.
know damn well that girl wasn't no
I said
damn
something.
Sydney Star. Sydney Star is stacked compared to that girl.
Yeah, that girl dress was too big, and it was all
She's
unfortunate.
very tiny.
She was
I
very
love Ray J.
small.
Say, I thought he was gonna get the ooh-wee times 2.
No, that means Ray J don't know his friend Safaree, because he ain't getting ooh
And
nothing.
clearly doesn't know Nikki.
And I'm seriously confused as to how he was ever with Nicki Minaj based on his behavior. On
That's
this.
what I'm saying. I mean, Nikki is a little.
She is, but still, and it's funny 'cause
Remember all the Roman stuff? I think
But that's why she liked.
like.
So how does Safaree fit into that though?
Shit,
He was writing the lyrics.
But
man.
no, but she was the
Stall him
lion
out.
and he was the lamb.
They
Is that what
no,
was going
no.
down?
They both were behind closed doors, like I think I have a right bitch for
Oh my
It fits. They're quirky, they're weird, they're strange.
I can see that. Yeah.
It fits. They probably had a lot of fun together.
That I could see that. I could see that.
I'm so
And she was
grossed
doing
out
all
in my
the-
mind right now. She had on a couple wigs. He was
yeah,
probably
stupid.
wearing wigs
Yeah,
too, with
yeah,
the fur
stupid.
coat.
Like that's her brand or whatever. I mean,
Well, all right, guys. That
she
was.
has
Nikki to
been
Nikki.
quite silent.
I want it all. 3 words. I want it
I
all.
want it all.
I
Well,
do
you
get
got
it
nothing.
all.
You
Boo.
can't pull it off unless you're Ray J.
You got goose egg. You can't.
Unless
pull it off
you're
at
Ray
all.
J.
Like Ray J could pull that line off.
Okay, that line.
The line.
Yeah.
With
I'll
somebody.
give you that.
With somebody, just not with everybody. It
Come
don't work
on.
for everybody.
Ray J still got married after being caught in his side stash apartment with a
mean-
stripper pole, strippers,
But that's because-
throwing money on hoes.
but that's
and he
be-
turned to his
but
future
that's-
wife and said, "This is me."
That is because his future wife is damaged goods and she is not even aware of it. She just found out she had daddy issues last week when her wedding planner told her she did. She's
And
damaged.
men will prey on that, ladies. They
He
will take
did.
advantage of you with that, ladies.
Go get your
But
healing, princess.
I
You
was-
would have been all right without Ray J.
I respect him for being honest. This is me.
This
so
is me.
You're still here, so clearly you're cool with it.
This
So
is
in the
me.
event it happens, that's maybe Willie should have taken that advice
Oh, my
and turned to
Lord.
Sean and said, "Look, this is me.
This is me.
It's the end of the world. That was Forgive or Forget, Season 3, Episode 8. It's time for predictions, y'all.
I don't be knowing what to predict on this show.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I tell you one thing. I don't know if I have a prediction. I just do not want to sit through an episode where Lyrica's mom is going to talk. First, I don't want to sit through another episode with her wearing fitted pants, tight pants. Like, please cut that out. Next thing, we about to talk about liposuction.
Yes, we
And
are.
her?
We are. And she tells her daughter Lyrica, and I want you to pay for it.
How dare you?"
How dare you?
As a matter of fact, Lyrica Senior is more appropriate and fitting for this show than Lyrica Junior. She might as well just take her spot.
Yeah, Lyrica, well, she kind of want to. That's probably why she's
Clearly.
asserting herself so strong. But we're going to
She's
talk about...
disgusting.
We're going to talk about... Well, I feel bad because both the parents, Lyrica Senior and I don't know, what's
And
Ava's
Pam.
mama, Pam?
I think her name is Pam. Pam is a what piece of work?
Pam.
Pamela?
I'm
That is
disappointed
a
in
piece
A1 and
of
Lyrica for
work.
putting their mamas out there like that.
That's what I said. My mom, even if Mona knocked on my door and was like, "Shar, the check is big enough," and I'm like, "Listen,
would
I'm gonna do this
pretend.
shit." As far as we're concerned, I'm a motherless
I'm
child.
a dead.
You know
I'm
what,
dead.
though?
I do not have
But
a mom.
think about
no.
Pam and Lyrica, talking about Lyrica Senior. They would override their kids
They would try
to do this.
They would
Yeah.
try. They would
It
try.
takes
But
a very special woman like Jim Jones' mom and like Mama D and things like that. But no, my mom wouldn't even agree to this. But as
No.
far as you're concerned, Mona Me Productions,
Wrong.
I'm a mother.
You
We're
wrong.
estranged.
Yes.
We
We
she's
are
Kenya
estranged.
Moore's.
You
she's
could
Kenya
not get
Moore's
me
mom. She
to
don't
sign
answer
the
door.
contract to
No.
get my mama to get on the show.
No.
Like that would be a stipulation in the contract. If you put my mama on camera, we done. I'm out of here.
But you also got to take this into consideration. Pam was living with Lyrica and A1,
She ain't
so
got to be
Pam
in
was
the
broke.
episode. She ain't got to be
Pam
in
was
it.
broke. Pam
They
got a
trying to
little
get her
check now.
check. That-
Pam got a little check
She
now.
probably got $1,500. That's
But
it.
An episode though.
No, not an episode.
Did you
That
all
was the
see-
whole
Season-
argument that they were random side people that aren't like the main people on the show don't get no money for real. Like they
Yeah.
really are not getting money
Oh
for
my
this.
God. Look at what Sky Patterson just
What
said.
you said, what you
I mean,
said.
Keen Lagerfeld.
Oh, is Lyrica counts as on stage? Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! What? Oh man!
Bring back Countess Vaughn.
We gon'
Do you
run
love
run through the rest of the prediction.
Yeah,
I can't
just
even
let it rest.
I can't even mess with that. So Masika, we gonna deal with her baby daddy Fetty Wap. I wish he would wear an eye patch, Freddie.
No, I like him without the eye patch.
I can't look. I don't like it.
No, it's real.
I
It's
don't
who he
mind,
is.
because the eyes are
Who he
really
is.
gory.
It makes me
But I can sleep with him. If I just slept with Fetty Wap, the patch have to be on.
Or the lights on. Or the lights on.
Right, I'm not playing those
Fetty,
games.
hit them lights.
Fetty, clap off. I'm not playing those games.
He's like, but I'm naked, don't you?
No,
You ain't
we're
going
gonna have
for
to cover that on up, boo.
Oh my gosh. All right. And last but not least, apparently Princess and Brandy gonna come for Moniece, y'all. They gonna find the sex tape.
Best, I think the highlight of next week's episode, my prediction, will be when A1 pulls out that goddamn pink waist trainer.
For
yes.
Mama.
I hollered watching the teaser, so I can only imagine.
And then she gonna beat up Pam with the
Throwing
darn
paper
waist
plates
trainer.
at Pam.
Like, I'm done. I'm done. Well, that's it, guys. That's more Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. We'll be back again next week with the same shit. Where can they find you in the middle of the week, Stephaune?
Oh, you can always find me everywhere at I Am Stephaune. If you're in the LA area and you want to come down to Skid Row and serve the homeless tomorrow, you can do so. We'll be doing it from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. downtown Los Angeles.
And tomorrow
God, I
is
can actually do
Tuesday,
it
October
Tomorrow's Tuesday,
4th.
October 4th.
Yes.
I'm actually right.
You're
I
not
can
doing
do
it this
tomorrow.
weekend?
No. Only on Tuesday.
I thought you used to do it on Saturdays.
I did the
his birthday
cupcake
party.
thing. Like special stuff I'll do on Saturday.
Okay, well.
Like I do have one coming up and I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
All right, and you all can find me everywhere in the meantime, between time at Shar Says So. I will not be here next week or the week after that. So I'll see you all around.
She too
She's
important.
famous, y'all.
The
She's traveling and
22nd.
teaching the kids.
She too important.
She's fabulous. Okay, I'm everywhere at Stuart Starlet. You guys make sure you follow us at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Genuinely,
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.